ladies and gentlemen. This is Cantrell Tyson. This is my first ever show. This is my show entitled SEC with Country T. I'm going to be able to tell you about all the big matchups this weekend, or our matchups. And Auburn and the Ole Miss will get together. Mississippi State and Kentucky will get together. Vanderbilt and Arkansas will get together. South Carolina and Tennessee will do battle. Florida and Georgia. Also going to give you a little my lookouts for next week's big SEC showdown between LSU and Alabama, a potential national semifinal. Let's take this first matchup. You look at the Ole Miss Rebels, who are right now probably the most god awful team in the SEC at 2-5, 0-4 in the SEC. And you look at this Auburn team, ranked number 23 in the BCS, 5-3, 3-2 in the SEC, in a good position to make some noise and to potentially pull off upsets against Alabama and Arkansas to make some shake up in the SEC West. But when you look at this Auburn team, they are 106 in passing yards. But where Auburn hurts you is when they are allowed, whenever they get big plays out of Ontario McCaleb, a very good runner, fast speedster, and a kid called Michael Dyer. Florida found out that Auburn can move the ball with these guys. They're 34th in the nation in rushing yards. When you look at this Ole Miss team, their defense is simply god awful. They're giving up 29.1 points per game. They've allowed 52 on them against Alabama, 29 against Arkansas, 28 against Fresno, 27 against Georgia, 37 beat down at the hands of Vanderbilt, who, by the way, is not an awful team this year. When you look at Vanderbilt, most of the time you think they're not a good football team. This year, Vanderbilt leads the nation in interceptions. But if I had to pick, this is the game where Auburn needs to watch out early and often. But I really think that Auburn will be able to, start off fast, and I think they'll be able to score a lot of points. They should score at least 40 in this game. I don't think Ole Miss offense right now looks to be very disappointing right now under Houston Nutt. But I mean, if I had to pick, I'm saying Auburn should definitely win this game without a doubt in my mind. But they need to really watch out, because this could really, if they stumble here, this could really hurt them down the road. And next, we have the Vanderbilt-Arkansas game. You have a great passing offense in Arkansas, but you have the
nation's leading defense in interceptions. And Vanderbilt, that's right, people, the Commodores from Vanderbilt, that's right, the smart boys are finally picking them off now this year. Passing yards for Arkansas on offense, they're 111th in the nation. They're 57th in rushing, but point four, they get average 24.9 points a game. But they're only giving up 21.6 points per game. That's right, Vanderbilt, they're 33rd in the nation. Not that bad out of 122 or 120 FBS schools. But Arkansas, they're 9th in the nation in passing, averaging 321.9 yards per game in the passing offense. Rushing, yeah, they're down because they're the most passing team. They average 37.7 points, which gives them 19th in the country, and 21.7 points, 34th behind that Vanderbilt defense. I'm telling you, this Vanderbilt team is fast. They hung in there with Georgia. They beat Army last week 44-21. Georgia, they lost 33-28, and then they lost at the hands of a great Alabama team 34-0. But this Vanderbilt team, something about them, they have that swagger with. They stay around with you. They can really pull off the upset. I really thought last week they played a wonderful game against Army the week October 15th, when they took on Georgia. I really found out how good this Vanderbilt team is, and that if you let them stay around, they can really put off the upset. But I think Arkansas is, over the last 3 games, they're undefeated. They beat Ole Miss 29-24. They beat Auburn 38-14, and it shocked me when they beat Texas A&M. I really thought Texas A&M was really going to win that game, and they beat them 42-38, which was a close ball game. But in this game, you don't look for a lot of fireworks in this game. I know Arkansas passes the ball a lot, but I think that Vanderbilt will pick them off some. Vanderbilt played good defense, but in the end, I'm really thinking that Arkansas will eventually pull away. Arkansas 35, Vanderbilt 28. I really think that's what's it's gonna be. I don't really know. I really love this Vanderbilt secondary against, because defense wins championships, but defense wants to win this game. I'm really thinking Arkansas is going to eventually pull away from the Vanderbilt Commodores. We'll have more live action, more action next. After this break that we're going to take, we're going to cover the Mississippi State game and them taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. We're going to move to South Carolina taking on Tennessee, and we'll have Florida and Georgia doing battle down in Jacksonville, and then we'll start going into our LSU Alabama, and then we'll give you a look at the top 25 in the BCS this week, and we'll take a look at our matchups. We'll see you back after this message.
Over 5,000 SEC student athletes, 2,400 named to academic honor roll. 288 named academic All-American. 12 universities. One mission. The Southeastern Conference, equipping tomorrow's leaders today.
Welcome back to the SEC with Country T. The next matchup we're going to talk about is the Mississippi State Bulldogs taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. This is big disappointment versus awful. And, I mean, it's just as it looks. You get look at this Mississippi State team. They were ranked very high going into this season. I mean, they lost at Auburn, or lost to a good Auburn team, rather, should I say. Lost 24-10 against Georgia. They struggled first with UAB, and then they able to pull it off late 21-3. And then in South Carolina, they lost 14-12 in a game, which I think they should have won. It would have really helped them, build somewhat. I mean, but this Kentucky team, I don't know how to put it besides that their offense is struggling. They're fourth to last in the nation in passing. They're 71st in running. They're 111th in overall defense points for and points against, or defensively points against. They're 68. I mean, that what gets me is the points for. They're only averaging 16.6 a game. Mississippi State's only giving up 19.3. I mean, that's 19th in the nation compared to an offense that's 111th. People, this Kentucky offense is really got to do something under Newton. I mean, it would be something if he was Camden, but he's not. This kid, I mean, he's not an awful kid. He's great. I mean, he has great athletics ability. He moves around well, but he has no receivers. His offense is struggling right now. I mean, you look at it, they only had 17 against Louisville, and they lost by 7. And it's probably their closest game of the season so far. It is. I mean, they lost to Florida 48-10, a team that's struggling right now. Lost to LSU, obviously 35-7, a real beat down, 54-3, 54-3. They didn't score a single offensive touchdown in that game against South Carolina. And look at their Jacksonville State; they were down actually in this game, 14-0 actually, and they reeled off 38 consecutive points and win it against Jacksonville State, 38-14. But right now they're 3-4, they're 0-3 in the SEC. I mean, I don't see another game on their schedule. I think that they'll win. I think maybe they may squeak one out. I mean, but I really don't think this. I think they're going to be an offer in the SEC. But this Mississippi State team, I think this game right here, if they win this game, this game could salvage their season. If they win this one, they win against Ole Miss. This really could help this team out a lot because they're also 3-4 and they're also 0-4 in the SEC. But their losses in the SEC, they lost to South Carolina by 2. They lost to Auburn late in the game. Were stuffed at the 1-yard line. Georgia, they lost by 14. But I mean, they were in that game the whole entire time. But I really like Mississippi State in this game. This could get nasty. I really think that Mississippi State's going to do work in this game. I truly believe it's going to be I'm going to go ahead and say 32-10. I think it's really going to be it's going to be pretty nasty. I don't think that Kentucky's offense will score that touchdown. I really think their defense will step up and make a play on defense. They'll be down this and they'll have 3 for a while, and then they'll score late in the game to make it look good on their stats. But yeah, I'm really not loving this Kentucky offense right now. It's just too much right now to handle right now. They're struggling tremendously. But other than that, let's go to another game. We got South Carolina and the Tennessee Volunteers. This right here is a make-or-break game for the Tennessee Volunteers. Having lost 3 consecutive games, they lost to Georgia, a team that I thought they could have beat. They were down 20-6 or 7 at one time, 6, and they came back and ended up losing 20-12. I mean, they had a chance late in the game to win it. Then they were at home against LSU, and it was just a beat down. I mean, early they were hanging around LSU, and then the LSU just was LSU 38-7. Just I don't know. LSU was just too good that game. That made them 3-3, and they were 0-3 in the SEC. And now they're 0-4 because of last week's loss to Alabama, 37-6. Had Alabama 6-6 at halftime. Alabama's offense stepped it up. Their defense stepped it up. Alabama runs off 37 straight consecutive points now. And I was actually watching this game. I was like, wow, this. I mean, they had them right there, and I knew that they could always let Alabama. I mean, they had them. I mean, but it was just. I mean, Alabama's Alabama. Now, I get with people all the time that Alabama and LSU deserves to be many NFL teams because this year is just simply unfair to the rest of the league to have to play these teams. When you look at this South Carolina team, they're 89th in the nation in passing, 24th in rushing. They won't be 24th in rushing come at the end of Saturday because they're without Marcus Lattimore now, who's out with the season ending. They don't have any Garcia. They have Shaw and Jeffrey. If you take, they're only giving up 25.3 points per game, but Arkansas's offense is averaging 32.5, which gives them 35th in the nation.
Their defense is ranked 54th in Tennessee's defense ranked 54th in the nation. But I mean, I think Shaw will connect to Jeffrey early in the game. I mean, they'll get yards and points. But this was going to be just a tad bit closer than I think most people think. South Carolina is, I think, too much right now for the Tennessee defense. Tennessee won't be in it because I think they know that they can shape up the SEC East with a win here against a 4-1 in the SEC, overall 6-1 South Carolina Gamecock team who's playing fairly well now. 3 out of their last 4 ball games they've won. Only one coming to 16-13 loss to Auburn. But yeah, I really believe that South Carolina will win this one. 28-24 is what I'm going with over the Tennessee Volunteers. I really like that. We'll be back after this. Then we're going to have coverage on the Florida-Georgia game, the showdown in Jacksonville, the world's largest that cocktail party, and we'll have LSU and Alabama. Next week's game, we're going to look at that this week, the big showdown, and we're going to finish up with our top 25 lookout. We're going to release those BCS standings, and just in case you hadn't heard them, and we're going to let you know my picks on the top 25 games that we have this week in big showdown. We'll be back after this.
Champions aren't born, they're built. They're built when the stadium is empty and the cameras are turned off. They're built when no one's around to pat them on the back. Champions aren't built between the hours of 9 to 5, but neither are 31-year legacies.
Ford F-150. Drive it now and get up to $7,500 cash back. See your Alabama Ford dealer today.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to SEC with Country T. Matchup now is between the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs. These two teams have gone into what I thought was total opposite direction. Georgia starts off the season 0-2. Then they reel off 5 straight wins. 5 straight wins over Ole Miss. So it was not a good football team. 27-13. They won at Mississippi State 24-10. Beat Tennessee 20-12 late in the game, and 33-28. Yes, all these wins are close, but I mean their wins are quality wins. They're 1-1 in the SEC, and then they turned into 1, 3-1, and they're now 4-1, tied with Arkansas atop the SEC East. And then you look at their opponent, the Florida Gators, a team that's really, really struggling right now. And you look at this Florida team; they're 100 in passing offense, they're 41st in rushing points for. They only average 26.9. That's 71st in the nation. Defenses, they're only help they only give up 18.9. That's 16th in the nation. This Georgia defense is lower than that. They give up 20.4, but that's only 2-point spread. It's 27th in the nation, but Georgia averages 32.3, which is 36th in the nation. Florida lost to Alabama 38-10. Lost at LSU 41-11. Lost against Auburn, a team that I thought they had a very good chance of beating. Lost to them 17-6. A lot of, mistakes in that game, which really cost them. Special teams were god awful and during that game. But both of these teams are coming off a bye, and I think that because I mean this is a huge game for Coach Will Muschamp. In case you didn't know, he was a graduate of Georgia. He played safety there for the Bulldogs. But I think with Georgia winning these games, and Florida knows that the only way they can possibly make it to Atlanta is if Georgia loses out and South Carolina loses out. That's probably the only hope. But I think that the Gators, I think getting John Brantley back would be a great help to them. I mean, they've been in quarterback troubles. They started Brissett the last two games, or yeah, ending of the Alabama game, and then these LSU and Auburn game. I mean, he hadn't had terrible games. I mean, it's not working. I mean, that they have big plays down the field. Receivers not catching the ball. They're going about turning second and 15, third and 20s. And that's just something not this pro style offense isn't really built for. I mean, I think that this Georgia Aaron Murray is a great quarterback. It has great receiving around him. When you look at Crawley around him, and this Georgia defense has really stepped it up late in ball game, stopping Vanderbilt on a potential touchdown pass that would have won the game. But I look at this game. I mean, due to the rivalry, it's been a big rivalry, and doing it being a big game for the head coach at Florida, being a big game for Georgia to defeat a guy that actually played for him. I'm going to take my chances here, and I'm going to take the Gators. I'm going to go Florida 24, Georgia 14. Florida pulls away late. I think they pull away late. But I think this is going to be a great game, and it may be even closer than that. I should go 24-17. Yeah, 24-17. There you go. You have it. I'm going to take the Gators 24-17 over the Georgia Bulldogs, and what should be a very close game. I said because the rivalry, and because it'll be a big game for both schools. So it's definitely a big game for Florida to get back on track. And losing those three straight really hurt them. I mean, if they could have just won and lost to Alabama and LSU, it would have been, or just win at least one of those 3-game stretch where they lost 3 in a row for the second consecutive year too, by the way. And I really think the Gators need this win. They want this win. I know Georgia wants this win. It'll help them, especially if South Carolina happens to lose to Tennessee, which would put Georgia atop the SEC. But I mean, the Gators really want to make some noise. This could be a big, huge game going into the rest of the SEC stretch. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the big showdown next week: LSU, Alabama, World War III. You can call it whatever you want to. Dog match. This game is huge, and it is huge not only because it's Nick Saban playing LSU again, but these two teams are ranked number 1 and number 2 in the nation. These two teams are by far it's LSU, Alabama, the rest of college football. This game has potential to be an all-out war. This game could be a national championship game. Have features of a national championship game. I'm not going to give you my prediction until next week, but I look at this game, and I mean, LSU's defense is phenomenal, but Richardson and Lacey are phenomenal. Alabama's defense is outstanding. LSU's offense is outstanding. The 2-quarterback system, I think, is working at LSU. If it doesn't work anywhere else, they seem to make it work under less mouth. But I mean, this game is huge. I mean, it's ridiculous how big this game is going to be and how it's going to shape up. The winner, if he wins out, will be in the national championship. It's just that easy. The loser could win out and hope that the other one loses in the SEC championship and they could represent the SEC. But I mean, this game is great. I mean, I don't know another way to put it about how excited I am about this game. And I'm not even an Alabama and LSU fan, and I'm really, really, really excited about this game. But that's enough on that. In case you don't know, the BCS rankings came out this past week. You have number 1 LSU, 2 Alabama, 3 Oklahoma State, Clemson, Stanford at 6, 7 is Oregon, 8 Kansas State, Arkansas falls in at 10, 11 is Michigan State, 12 is Virginia Tech, 13 is South Carolina, 15 is Wisconsin, 16 is Texas A&M, 18 is Michigan, 17 is Houston. By the way, Michigan State, when I said 11 Michigan State, I meant to tell you they're playing 14 Nebraska. 17 is Houston, 19 is Penn State, 20 is Texas Tech, 21 is Arizona State, 22 is Georgia, 23 Auburn, 24 Texas, and 25 West Virginia. And what you've all been waiting for, my prediction, the top 25. I had 3 Oklahoma State. It was 7-0 taking on a 4-2 Baylor team that was actually ranked very high for themselves. I think many people were shocked by Baylor at first and the way Griffin's handling the offense, but I really love this Oklahoma State offense. I really do. I mean, this is going to be a shootout. 42-38. I'm taking the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And what a couple of weeks ago, a matchup that I thought was, wow, this could be a big national championship lookout game. Georgia Tech and Clemson. Georgia Tech has disappointed me these last couple of weeks, and I think they're going to continue to disappoint me this week. I love this Todd Boyd kid, and I love this Clemson offense. I'm going to take Clemson in this game, 35-21 over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Stanford USC. This is the game I've been waiting to pick. USC 28, Stanford 18. They stopped Andrew Luck's offense in Stanford's 7-0 mark, and they improved to 7-1 now. And remember, USC cannot represent the Pac-12 South in the Pac-12 championship due to sanctions and everything like that. But I think they really shake up stuff, and I think they beat the Stanford Cardinals. I really do. I think I'll take USC over Stanford. Oregon and Washington State. This is the battle of uniforms right here. If you've seen, Washington State had some very crazy uniforms last week with the gray, but I'm taking the Oregon Ducks. I mean, they're just too good for this Washington 3-4 Washington State team, 1-3 in the Pac-12. Take Oregon 38, Washington State 14. Kansas State taking on Oklahoma. Yep, that's right. Number 9, Oklahoma. Usually it's just Oklahoma that's undefeated. Kansas State now, but this Kansas State team is good. Blowing out Kansas last week. Probably cost him Turner-Gill his job at Kansas. It was straight beat down, but I'm gonna take the Oklahoma Sooners. I think Kansas State was a surprise the first 7 weeks. But I think now they're about to go down the drain. I think I'll take Oklahoma any day of this game. 32-24 over the Kansas State Wildcats. Arkansas Vanderbilt. Already gave my predictions on that. Let's go Michigan State, Nebraska. Michigan State coming off a huge win over one of my favorite teams, the Wisconsin Badgers. This Michigan State team is, after that last game, I think they still stay on cloud nine. I think they improved to 4-0 in the Big Ten. I think they take on this number 14 Nebraska team, and I think they win a close one, 27-24 late in this game too. I think they win late. Virginia Tech taking on Duke. This one could get early fast. 35-10 Virginia Tech. Number 15, Wisconsin at Ohio State. Ohio State is still a good football team. They're 4-3, 1-2 in the Big Ten. But they're taking on a great Wisconsin team. But I think Wisconsin Badgers are gonna pull this one out really late. 42-28. How about that? 2 touchdowns by the Wisconsin's late in the game to go 42-28. Texas A&M and Missouri. I'm taking Texas A&M in this one. 42-35 over the Missouri Tigers. And the Michigan-Purdue game. This Purdue team, I really don't like this Purdue team that much. When I watch them play, I really don't like them. So I'm going to take Michigan in this game, and I'm going to take Michigan 34, Purdue 17. 7-0 Houston, not getting any respect in the polls. They're number 17 and they're 7-0. Case Keenum and his Cougars will take on Rice, who's 2-5, 1-3 in conference play. And I'm going to take the Houston Cougars 38-6 over the Rice Owls. Penn State 7-1, 4-0 in the Big Ten, taking on 6-2, 2-2 at Illinois, fighting Illini. If you don't remember, this Illinois team started off season 6-0. I'm going to take Illinois over Penn State. That's right, the 6-2 team over the 7-1 team. I'm going to take Illinois 28, Penn State 24. Texas Tech, Iowa State. I'm going to obviously take Texas Tech, who's 5-2, 2-2 in the Big 12, over and 0-4 in the Big 12 play. Iowa State Cyclones, Texas Tech will put up much after that huge victory over Oklahoma. They're going to put up big points this weekend. I think this is a 49-17 beatdown. Arizona State taking on 1-7 or 1-4 Colorado. Colorado not having a big year. So in the Pac-12 this year, 5-2, 3-1 for Arizona State. I take them in this one, and this is a beatdown, 35-7. Georgia, Florida, I'll give you a prediction. Auburn, Ole Miss, give you predictions. Texas and Kansas. We'll do battle. Texas is 4-2, 1-2 in the Big 12, and Kansas 2-5, 1-4. This Texas team really has turned things around. I think many people, in my opinion, would be shocked if Kansas won this game. I'm going to say Texas 38, Kansas 14. Number 25, West Virginia taking on Rutgers. West Virginia lost last week to Syracuse. I mean, they're 5-2, 1-1 in the Big East, and Rutgers is 5-2, 2-1. So it shows you how evenly matched these two teams are. I'm thinking Rutgers is going to get the 2-1, and actually West Virginia will get 2-1, and Rutgers will get to drop to 2-2 in conference play. I'm going to say West Virginia 28, Rutgers 14. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing today's show. I really hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next Monday, that is, for SEC with Country T. If you would like to hear me talk about something about your favorite team on the air, if you like what you would like to think about our new show, just message me on Facebook. And Cantrell Tyson is my name, as you know. But if you want to, just send me your messages. If you would like for me to talk about your favorite team, or you would like to give a shout out for your favorite team or something, just let me know and we'll have it right here on the air. Thank you, and have a pleasant good weekend in the SEC. Remember, this is SEC with Country T. So long, friends. So long.